Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to end the video. This is another paid request. This time for DavieVids. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And once again, I apologize for my look. Allergy season's kicking my butt. Not only with the eye, but even a little bit of this, the sniffles. So, I apologize for that. Don't want to gross people out. And on top of it, if you hear background noise, it's hot as hell here in Texas. So have the AC on among other stuff. Plus a fan on the computer so that the computer doesn't burn up the laptop. So anyway, with all that said, this is a review of A Walk Among the Tombstones, a Liam Neeson film from 2014. Now, this is a film that when I first saw it, I wasn't really sure what to think about it, honestly. But I think I was indifferent, and I don't know why. I think because I went to it expecting a Taken type of film, action film. It's not at all. But watching it again, because it wasn't like I'm like, let me watch this again. I think there's... And then I did, and I'm like, well, you know what? This is a rather good movie. It's a good mystery, thriller, drama. It's directed with great style. The cast do a wonderful job. You got Liam Neeson. I think this is one of his better later roles. This, Taken, and Nonstop, I think are his three best. I would go Taken, Nonstop, then this one. If you're talking about his later career, I would say this is part of his three best movies. And you also have, sorry, don't forget the names. Boyd Holbrook is in it, but you know what? He's actually not that bad in this. Dan Stevens, who was in The Guest, among other films, he's in this. David Harbour, who would later be in the TV show Stranger Things. He would be the new Hellboy. He's in here as one of our villains. And this is a story that is actually rather intriguing. Like I said, the director brought a nice bit of style to it. And, like I said, if you like... I don't know if film noir is the right aspect, but the mystery thriller aspect, this is well worth a look. If you go in expecting Liam Neeson kick a lot of ass, this is not that kind of movie, but again, that does not make this a bad movie in the slightest. And from the get-go, it takes place years before the rest of our story, and Liam Neeson's a cop at a bar, and immediately these two armed thugs go in and start shooting up the place. He barely dodges out of the way, runs after them, kills some of them. Nice POV shot, his point of view, aiming at a guy going down the stairs, shooting him. I was like, okay, that's a bang for your buck. And then as the movie goes, you're then thinking you're seeing a love scene. You see a guy caressing a woman and playing this sort of... Not... The way it's filmed seems like, okay, is a couple having sex, is a couple going to die? But then the camera slowly reveals the woman has duct tape on her mouth. And oh shit, nope, this ain't a love scene. Well, I guess for some it would still be a love scene if you're into that. S&M. S&M. I don't know why, it sounds like the beginning of some fucking song. S&M, getting for ya. S&M, don't want none of M&M's. I didn't say it sounded like a good song, it just sounded like a song. And that's where, you know, okay, this movie... I think it's better than what people would think it would be. Especially with, you look at a lot of the recent Liam Neeson films. Like, what was it? Cold Pursuit, I didn't mind. Some people don't like the film. I actually didn't mind Cold Pursuit. So that's another one. If I picked 4 newer Liam Neeson films I didn't mind. But what was the other one? The Ice Road? That was the one I ranted on. That was really lame. And it seems like the stuff he does nowadays just... Was it Blacklight or something? I don't know, just not really up to par of this stuff. So it's years later, he's retired, he's a recovering alcoholic, he goes to meetings, and someone who's at his meetings is Boyd Holbrook. The guy would be the Predator. Well, he was the star in The Predator. He's not a Predator. That's a different thing. That's Kevin Spacey. He was star in The Predator. But here, at least he's a small, supporting role, and he does fine in this aspect. And he's asking Liam Neeson for his brother. Hey, my brother needs your help. Because at this point, Liam Neeson's now, he's not a cop. He does, he's an investigator. Do little jobs here and there. Sees the brother, and it's Dan Stevens. And Dan Stevens mentions about how he got a phone call that his wife was taken. He paid the money. And while, yes, he is a drug trafficker, this was still, his wife that he loved and cared for. And the two kidnappers, even though Dan Stevens did everything that they asked, when they told him to go to this location and open up the trunk of this car, there's these packets, he's poking it, and blood starts seeping out. So Dan Stevens' wife was cut up into pieces and put in these bags. And from the little beginning with the duct tape and this, you really get a sense of just how evil these villains are. And one of them is played by David Harbour. And I like that for most of the film, you don't get a lot of clear shots of them. It's either them on the phone or little glances here and there of their mouth or such. It's not until later on where you get more of an inkling. And you don't get a whole lot of backstory on the villains. You get a little bit, but I thought it actually worked better for this. And I liked Liam Neeson's character. I thought he was a guy that definitely, he has a past, which you find a little bit later, that makes you feel sorry for him. And you get why he wanted to go cold turkey. And I actually didn't mind him befriending this kid in the library. I'm like, oh god, a kid. Kid's gonna be annoying. Why is the kid gotta be hanging around? But the kid, TJ, he actually wasn't too bad. The dialogue between him and Liam Neeson worked well with each other. TJ, the fact he really is into stuff like Philip Marlowe and Sam Spade and wants to be an investigator himself. But they don't go overboard with that. Okay, an instance where that was done overboard. You remember the kid and Dick Tracy? I thought that was doing that a bit overboard. And the kid wasn't bad, just the way he was written was a bit much. When do we eat? When do we eat? Well, put my fist in your mouth, that's when we eat. But this I thought was done much more easygoing, level-headed. Once I was added to was a bit dickish from time to time, but thankfully they didn't keep doing that to make him, at least in my opinion, he wasn't unlikable. And just the way the film is shot and the style and certain stuff that the director brought to the proceedings made the story interesting for me to go, because it had been a while since I've seen it. And so, unless it's a film I watch over and over again, I don't commit it to memory. Especially if it's a bad movie. But even good movies, it was fun. I think I did see it twice in 2014, and then it's been a while since I've seen it, so about 8 years. And I thought the script was decently smart. Smarter than the average thriller, especially nowadays. Like how I like the idea that these kidnappers target drug traffickers. Because at one point they got this file from a DA and they saw who all the drug traffickers are, and they know these people have money and they're not going to go to the police because they deal with drugs. So they kidnap their wife or their daughter in order to get money from them. Well, okay, that's kind of an interesting twist on things. And it also makes sense why they go to Liam Neeson, not the cops, because again, these are drug traffickers, but it's their loved ones this is being done to. I thought there was some decent bits of dialogue, like when Liam Neeson follows his groundskeeper guy, and the groundskeeper, you think he's going to attack him, you think a fight's going to break out, but then Liam Neeson tells him, you know what if I take that knife, take it away, and I stick it in your neck? And the guy's like, you could do that? I could, but I'd rather not. And then the guy drops the knife. And that's what I mean, there's certain things it does, I'm like, oh, okay, that was a nice, you think it's going to go right, there's a little bit left. Sometimes that's an important take on a thriller or mystery or that type of movie. And again, it's because it's well shot, the pacing didn't feel slow at all, interactions with the kids felt a bit, sweet. A kid looking up to Liam Neeson, wanting to be like him, but not being too cringeworthy or titty or Disney Channel style. The other actors do their jobs well. Dan Stevens is a good actor. David Harbour, again, before Hellboy and Stranger Things, showed that he had the right voice and manner of a villain. One nitpick is the other villain doesn't really get much to say. Like, he doesn't really talk on the phone. The little snippets of them and their past, messing with victims, you don't really see that guy do anything. So, he's very... The script really underhands that character to almost being a nothing character until you're like, oh yeah, that's right, he is one of the villains. Which, that's a little nitpick about the finale, which I'll get to. Although I do like it, but just a little nitpick. And then more into spoilers. Starting now, spoilers. Another bit is when you think the groundskeeper is going to talk to him more, because he's telling about what happened with his other girl, and he was there, and he didn't think they'd go that far, and he tells him the name of one of them, and then when Liam Neeson's trying to ask him, the guy just walks off the ledge in the same shot. You're like, oh shit. And you feel like Liam Neeson, like, what the fuck just happened? And again, it does a decent job building up the Liam Neeson character. Like, when you find out, he had told the story at alcoholism in AA meetings that, oh yeah, this happened, and he was drinking, and the stuff we saw at the beginning. But then he tells the kid the one bit he never told anyone except now is that during the shooting, a bullet had a bad hop and hit a girl in the eye and killed her. Now, he didn't do it on purpose. It was a complete freak accident. But, that's why, understandably so, he's like, they gave me a commendation because I stopped the bad guys, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking and I'm going to quit. Nowadays, because guys are so evil and white guys are so evil and Liam Neeson is so evil, they would say, they write it where I laughed and I said, I'm still going to be here, and then some female prostitute told me to get the fuck out of Dodge. Because, wait, that doesn't make sense in the script. It doesn't matter. It fills an agenda. And that's the thing, that a lot of scripts in today, they will make a film dumber just to fill in a checklist. People think that's ridiculous, but to certain the movies I've seen lately, it's not as ridiculous as people think. And Liam Neeson, like I said, is one of his better later performances. Like when he's talking to David Harbour, and he knows he has got to talk a certain way, otherwise this little girl that's now been taken, no pun intended, she's going to be killed. I like the way Liam Neeson talks. Hey, you listen, motherfucker? No, your assurance means shit to me. You're a genetic fuck-up. 10 years ago, if I met you, I'd have thrown you through a fucking window. It's nice to see Liam Neeson be a badass. I mean, a friend of mine said it best. Liam Neeson is kind of the Charles Bronson of today. Where he's the older actor, but he's still doing these type of rough, gruff action or if not action, but thriller type of movies. Like you would see Charles Bronson do with Cannon Films, 10 to Midnight, The Evil That Men Do. I mean, you just say maybe this is Liam Neeson's version of The Evil That Men Do. Not in terms of plot, to be fair, but... Well, I don't know. I don't know why I made that comparison. I guess it doesn't make sense when I say it, but... I just see the comparison if you want to make for Liam Neeson and Charles Bronson. Sally, after, I mean, for the past, I don't know, 3-4 years, Liam Neeson's filmography has not been the best. This hasn't. Maybe one will be a surprise, who knows. Now, I was talking about the finale. You get to a point where one they leads to another. There's a shootout in a cemetery, little shootout. The kid... I'm glad they didn't go the direction of the kids hiding in the van, but then the kid gets caught, and Liam Neeson has to go in and give himself up to save the kid. I'm glad they didn't go in that direction. That seemed like it would be such an easy, typical direction to go in. Instead, the kid is acting reasonable, goes out, calls Liam Neeson, tells him where it's at, and goes the fuck home. Wow. You maybe like the character because he does the decently smart thing. You hear that, writers? So Liam Neeson, Dan Stevens go in there. Now, I do think the mistake was David Harbour's been hurt, so the other guy kills David Harbour. I do think that was a mistake. Because I guess they did it because otherwise this other guy would literally have nothing to do. Because the only one we've seen talk and confronted Liam Neeson at the meeting in the cemetery was David Harbour. So this guy had literally nothing to do, and they were... But on the flip side, it made me go, why did he even need 2 killers? You could have just had one guy. Or maybe a little bit of build-up on the second guy. I guess to me, I would have preferred if the fight at the end was between Liam Neeson and David Harbour. I don't know, maybe David Harbour... You get a little bit of build-up with the second guy, and then the second guy is the one confronting Liam Neeson, and then there's a ba-ba-ba. That guy gets wounded, then David Harbour kills that guy, and then the 2 that talked on the phone, and Liam Neeson said all this stuff to him, they're the ones having a bit of a fight at the end. There's a bit of me that would have preferred that little change-up. Because even with that, like, the second killer, there's really not much of anything to him. But, you know, the fight wasn't too bad. Wasn't too over the top. There's no BS out of the blue ending. They may go, what the fuck? Spoilers. Dan Stevens' stupid ass gets himself killed because Liam Neeson goes, you know, we can arrest this guy. Dan Stevens, I'll take care of this. And then I don't know why the fuck Dan Stevens goes down the stairs of the basement. Does he knock the guy out? I guess he's going to torture him or try to torture him or something. Well, that's his ass, Mr. Postman. Because then Liam Neeson wonders if something's up, goes back in, realizes Dan Stevens is dead, and has a fight with the guy in the basement and shoots the dumb motherfucker in the head. I mean, Walk Among the Tombstones, the guy who directed it, he did a film called The Lookout. He directed that. He helped write Malice with Al Baldwin. He helped write Out of Sight. And he helped write Logan. So, he's done some competent stuff. And I thought he did a really good job directing the film. You know, I definitely think this is one of the, I would say, a bit more underrated Liam Neeson films. Just no one really talks about this nowadays. Like I said, if I'm listing Liam Neeson films, it'd be Taken, the later career, that is. Taken, Nonstop, then this one. And then Cold Pursuit. I like older stuff like Darkman and stuff, but I'm just saying his later stuff. This is well worth a look if you like Liam Neeson. I mean, granted, I just spoiled it, but I didn't warn people. But yeah, if you like Liam Neeson, this is definitely worth a look. Like, yeah, if you go in expecting more of a thriller, more of a mystery, that whatever genre you want to put it in, you're not expecting Taken 4. It works rather well. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.